Hi there! Welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie from deliberatelycreative.blogspot.com, and I've got a really fun project for you today. Stick around and I'll show you what it is. Hey, thanks for sticking around. I have the cutest little owl. It's all made out of recycled material and a couple buttons. Basically, it's all corrugated cardboard, just cut into strips, coiled up to make the body and the two eye areas, and then a couple bits of cardboard to make his wings, then a couple buttons glued on. The whole thing is put together with just plain old craft glue, just white craft glue. Could be any kind. You could also use a hot glue gun if you wanted to. What I've done is I've taken some cardboard and I cut it into strips. I already pre-cut the strips just to make it easier to show on the screen here. These strips are whatever the length of your cardboard box is. So this, and yeah, sound effects are kind of fun to do. So, cardboard strips. I just cut a whole pile of them to get ready to do this project. My cardboard strips are approximately 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches wide. They don't have to be precise. You're going to be creating the spiraled circle, and then you're going to be pushing it from the back to create this sticking out tummy part. So they don't have to be exactly the same width. We're going to be gluing, doesn't really matter. So what we'll be doing is we will be starting off using this corrugated cardboard. And it really, I think it needs to be corrugated cardboard just because you can bend it into really tight circles. And what I'm doing right here is I'm pre-bending this cardboard. I'm putting my thumb on one side, and you see this is just throwaway cardboard. I did not go out and buy this. I'm pushing my thumb down and pulling up on the cardboard. And what that does is it bends this paper that's on the one side of it so that you can roll this into a tight circle. I'm going to do that to the rest of my pieces and I'll be right back. Alright, so welcome back. I wanted to show you here that I do have some narrower strips and some wider strips. Now, in the body, you want to keep the pieces as close to being the same size as possible. So the narrow strip probably would not work as well with the body, but if you have some narrower strips, they are going to work wonderfully up here in the eyes, because the eyes don't have to be perfectly the same size as the body. They can be narrower. They're going to get a wraparound all the way around, holding everything on afterwards. So if they don't match up perfectly in the back, it's no big deal. Remember, we're pushing these forward just a little bit to give you a little bit of dimension here. So, starting off, I might as well start off with one of the eyes. This piece of cardboard is about 1 inch or so. All I'm doing is folding it down a couple times in the center, and I'm going to give it just a tiny bit of glue once it gets down. Alright, tiny bit of glue in here, and I'm really not going to be gluing all along the way because I do want to be able to push forward a little bit, but I want that center core to be nice and tight. You see how it's nice and tight here? Let's zoom in just a little bit so you can really see how nice and tight that is. All right, so nice and tight in that center core. Let's see if I can do it this way. Yes, I can. So, keeping it tight, I hold on to the top and the bottom, and I just twirl it around between my pinched fingers. There we go. Just keep going round and round and round. And I think I'm going to use one whole strip for each of the eyes. Doing that, I think, will make a nice size. You do want to keep this tight. If you let go and you haven't been gluing it along the way I haven't, it will uncoil and spring all over the place. Let's see if we can get that to focus. Look how tight that is. Nice and tight. Okay, I'm down to this little bit of an end here. And we're going to be gluing right along, just a little bit. I'm just going to go, zoop, little strip of glue. And then I'm going to push it down. I'm just going to hold it here for just a second or two. Nice thing about the really thick white sticky glues, if you're in a fairly warm room, they're going to dry really fast and hold really fast. I am not in a really really warm room right now. I'm actually out in my studio in the backyard. I do have a heater running, but it's probably only about 50 degrees in this space, maybe 45. But there, even in this cold room, it's nice and tight, and the glue is stuck. So I'll show you again how we do that. I'll just set that back. We fold it down and fold it down again to pinch it there in the center. Give it just a little bit of glue, just for the very center to hold on to. And we just keep folding and rolling. So those first couple steps in the middle are sort of folded. And then we start pinching and holding on the outside, and we just roll it up. Just keep rolling it up. It's actually a really fast project. You could make a whole flock of owls. Do owls fly in flocks? I don't think so. I think owls are fairly solitary. But you could have a whole family of owls. Owls do live in family groups, at least until the babies are all fledged and grown. Now I'm going to put that little bit of glue on here and continue rolling it back up. And yeah, that piece of cardboard had a little bit of tape on it. Now we have two eye pieces. Those match these right here. Hello, peekaboo. All right, so I'm still holding on to this one right here because it's a little bit wet still. And there was that piece of tape that was on that right before this edge. And I don't want that to come loose, so I'm squishing it down really well. All right, now we're going to do the body part. This is going to take a couple, probably three strips. We start off exactly the same way. Fold it down in the center, fold it down a couple times, give it a little bit of glue. That's not really as much glue as it looked like. See, it's just a little bit, just to keep it kind of stuck down as we start rolling. you don't want to put glue all along, or you won't be able to punch out the tummy a little bit and give it that lovely shape. Now, because this is the body, we want it to be bigger than the eyes. When I'm done rolling up this first strip, I will put some glue on it, and it will be about the same size as the eyes to start off. It'll just be a little bit wider. So here we are. We're at the end. We're going to give it a little bit of glue. Remember, it's not that much. And pinch it. Then we're going to start the next piece of cardboard right next to this here. So we will be putting some glue here. Don't start off overlapping it. You want it to just match up. Grab one that's been pre-bent. You just want to match it up along the edge and sort of hold it in place, and except that I don't want that white cardboard showing. So I picked up a little bit of the glue here. No big deal, especially since I'm going to be rolling this around. And there it is, it's covered. It's just going to give me a little bit more security on that strip. And then I'm just rolling it up. If you notice, this cardboard is not even. It goes in and out. It's wobbly. I was just cutting by hand with scissors. I didn't put this on a cutting board and measure. You absolutely can measure. You can be very precise, have all of your strips exactly the same if you want. I didn't worry about it. What can I say? It's a project that is using leftover materials, things that would have normally hit the recycle bin. So here we are. There's this one, and I'm probably going to put one more strip just to give it a little bit more body. And show you how quick really this project is. Because we are almost done with the body, and we're almost ready to glue those eyes on. Okay, so look here. See how it came loose after I started rolling it around? I'm not worried about it. All I'm going to do is come back, pinch it between my thumb, stick it down a little bit, and now I'm just going to roll it back onto itself here. Because it's getting a little bit big. I don't have really big hands, and so I will use whatever tool happens to be around, and the table is a tool. So I am pressing down and holding onto it nice and tight out here, and allowing this to roll up. Just rolling it up. And now I'm at the end. Now this piece of tape right here, it's kind of shiny. There, you can see that shininess. I am going to just pull that piece of tape off because it is at the end of my cardboard strip, and I don't really want to have that possibly pop loose while I'm working on it. So, because it wants to pop loose to start off with until the tape the glue grabs. So now, look at that. We are getting a cute little owl already. So, this piece and these pieces. I am going to glue the eyes to the body before we do any of this other pushing out his tummy business. That's actually one of the very last things that I do. And it will even up this so it doesn't look so... Well, look at that. Even just setting it on the table, because of my pieces being a little bit off, I'm already getting a lovely little dome to his tummy. I'm not worrying about that right now, though. Right now, I want to get his eyes on. So I'm going to go like this, boop, and throw glue on. And what I like to do is put the seam side down and hold it here. And I am doing the same thing with this one. And I am just holding it here. And you see, these are not exactly lined up, but on one side they are. So I think I want to push that down. I want these to be lined up more to the other side. You'll find that one side of the cardboard looks nicer to you than the other side. See how that worked? So now I am just holding it here, getting it settled in. The glue will start to grab, and so now what I'm going to do is put just a splurt of glue between the eyes. Just right here between the eyes. And I'm going to pushing in against the body, and squeeze them a little bit to squeeze that glue between their eyeballs. So we're like this now. You see that? Pretty easy, isn't it? All right, and glue's starting to grab, so I'm not going to worry about holding it. Now, what you want to do is grab another wide piece that was like your body pieces. Make sure that it's been bent really well, because we are going to glue a strip all the way around the body. It's going to go around the body like this, all the way around. And then we will cut it off. And I may go ahead and just trim that off right now, since I've got a relatively close idea of what I need. So, take your glue. I am only going to get the glue up over the top of the eyes for right now. Glue will be going the rest of the way around. I'm fairly liberal with that glue. So now I'm going to line it up. I'm going to hold it with my finger right here, right up against that edge that from the last piece of cardboard. See that edge right there? Right up against that edge, I'm going to hold that with my finger. And then just work this cardboard around the whole owl. Now, I didn't get that bent really well, so I'm going to go ahead and just bend that a little bit. All right. So now we can just squish that in and up to here. And I just want to hold it there. Get that just squished in. Oh, look, the eye came loose a little bit. That's okay. That's one of the reasons for putting this piece of cardboard around, is that it's going to hold the whole bird together. you don't have to worry that the eyes will pop off or something, because this is actually going to hold it on. Wraps it in a pretty little coat. It's giving it a place to stay warm and cozy. We'll say that. All right, so it's starting to stick down now. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the glue on here. And if you look, this right here, I can trim that with a pair of scissors. Sorry about going off camera there a little bit. I can trim this with a pair of scissors. Let's zoom out. There we are. So that can get trimmed. No big deal. And now I'm squishing that in and around the corner here. And when I cut it off, I made sure that I did not cut it exactly the same length, because I wanted to make sure that I would get it the right size when I was done. This is actually kind of fun from this side also. Whoops, sorry. From this side also. And the reason why I say that is because now he's got these eyebrows that we could play with. Or we could use him, we could continue doing him from this side. We'll have some decisions to make in a minute. As soon as the glue is dry. I'm going to pause here and let the glue dry. Alright, the glue isn't completely dry yet, but I'm excited and I want to get this done. So I have decided that I am going to trim the body here, this wraparound piece. I want to go ahead and trim it so it's out of the way and matches up just a little bit. I'm not worried about making it perfect at all. You see, I'm just giving it a quick little trim. Probably would have been easier with some smaller scissors, but it works. I'm not worried about making it perfect. If I needed it to be perfect, I would take more time and take probably smaller scissors or an X-Acto knife to it. But this is a rustic little owl that's being made from recycled materials, so I'm not too worried. So, if we look at this owl here, I did do a second strip wrapping around his body, which gives it a little bit of definition right here. See how right in this spot, right there, that's this piece of cardboard here. So I'm trying to decide if I want to do that extra piece, and I think I do. I think it just gives a little bit more body, gives it a little bit more security. You already know how to wrap a piece of cardboard around like that, so I'm going to skip ahead and have that one wrapped around that way, and we'll move on to putting on the wings. Alright, so I came back a little bit before I was done with letting this wrap and with that final wrap on here. I wanted to show you that after I've wrapped it, and that's just taking the cardboard and wrapping it around the whole owl on the outside and gluing it down, I work with it a little bit. I lay it flat on the table, and I sort of push down up here at the top by his eyes to sort of bend that cardboard. And while I'm doing that, I'm pinching it on either side. I'm not trying to make these pieces go all the way in. I want to have them on the outside of his eyes and just skimming along his body. Just skimming along. I want to have the definition of his eyes on the inside and have this little bit on the outside. All right, so we're going to let this dry. And while that's drying, I'm just going to grab a couple pieces of a strip of that cardboard that we had extra, because I'm sure you had extra pieces of the cardboard prepared. So what we will do is say, yep, that's about the same width as the owl. I want to just fold this and cut off a piece that's about the length from the bottom of his eyeball to the bottom of his body, because that's going to be his wing. All right. And I folded it before I cut it off. That's just to make it easier to cut two wings at one time and have them go on either side of his body. Just like that. So, for a wing, I like... Oh, you can't see that. Let's get a pen. Get a pen. There we are. Check the pen. Yes, that works. All right. So, yes, much better. This will end up being the bottom edge of his wing, and this will be the top edge. And I'm basically just drawing a leaf shape. Wings are really fun. They can be any shape you want them to be, really. If you wanted to, you could put 2 circles for wings. You could put a heart, or actually a really easy way to make wings would be to make a heart and cut it in half. If you look at this, if you took one piece of cardboard and made a heart and then cut it in half, you would have wings that you could put on your bird. Let me move that out of the way. See? Look at that. So what I'm saying, you could make a heart, cut it in half, and have 2 wings. Just like that. So, the narrower end is the bottom of your wing. The wide end is your shoulder. So these are your shoulders up here, and these are the bottom of the wing down here. I'm going to go like this and say, yes, I like it like, oops, sorry, didn't mean to pull it off the screen. So, the wide side of the wing is his shoulders. The bottom is the bottom. And I'm going to, now because I use the pen on this, I am going to just trim this a little bit more carefully. If you just use pencil, you can erase it. Or if you freehand it, you don't even have to worry about that. There we go. Or, since I'd like to have a little bit of texture on his wing, I am going to try and see if this works. Sometimes you can peel the top paper off of your corrugated paper. Ah, yes, look at that. Oh, that's so cool. There, we're just going to pull that paper off. Now we're going to have a nice textured decorative surface. Let's see if we can get the other one to do the same. Oh, spiffy. All right. So now, and if you wanted to, you could glue your wings onto the fronts. I like my wings on the sides, but maybe a little bit forward. Maybe I'll curl my wings around the front edge a little bit. Ooh, look at that. Give it a little bit of shape. I like that. I think I'm going to do that. So now, blurb a glue up here on his shoulder. Take the wing. And if you look, I am attaching it right below the eye area. Right below that eye area. And I'm going to let it fold over the front just a little bit. But I'm not going to glue it there. Not gluing it there. Just sort of mushing it down. Just so it's folded a little bit. And look at that. And now I'm going to do the other side. Give it a little blurb of glue. Sorry about blocking your view there. And putting the wing on with his little point going back. And folding down just a little bit. Just so it wraps around just a little bit. And holding on. And there we are. Look at that. We are almost done. So, one of these pieces of paper that I just tore off, I'm going to fold to make the beak. So I am just folding up, making a triangle. I am making a triangle. Not a kind of triangle, it's a triangle. It was just with the piece of the brown paper. Because we're using up recycled materials, this piece of paper would have just ended up in the recycle box. And now, whoa, that's way too big. And I knew it would be. But by making it too big, you can adjust and figure out, how big do I want his beak to be? Do I want his beak to go all the way down to his tummy? Do I want it to just be up here at the top? I'm thinking more along the lines of right there. So, I decided that much. Bing. Nice thing about it, if I didn't cut it off right, if I decided, ooh, I really wanted a bigger beak, I've got lots of cardboard. I can make another one. Nothing is so far gone that you can't just work on it and make it work for you. So now we're going to squish that down, squish it down well, kind of pinching it between the eyes. And when you do that, pinching it between the eyes like that, if you look, it's getting some definition. Oh, how fun was that, huh? And look at this. He's got eyebrows because this outside cardboard was a little bit narrower on this side. So he's got eyebrows right here over his eyes. I'm liking that a lot. And I'm going to poke his eyeballs forward just a little bit. And oh, here, let me show you. The way I'm doing that is I'm going to the back side. I'm going right here to the center. And I'm just pushing down, pushing from the back, forward. Whoops. Now if I push too far, woo, look at that. Oh no! He's got binocular vision. Well, yes, he does have binocular vision, but I don't think we want him quite so far forward. So we're just going to push him back just a little bit. We'll do the same thing with his tummy, though. Going to the back side and pushing in from the back. Just push down. But push down gently, because you don't want to push so far. You don't really want to have him look like a pregnant owl, do you? I don't know. Whoops! Oh no, his wing popped off. That's easy to fix. It's just because I'm playing with him and pushing him around before he's really dry. There we go. So now, what do I have? I have a choice to be made. And I think part of that choice is that I'm going to push his eyes back just a little bit more. I have some buttons. And these are buttons that I picked up last year. I got a bag full of wooden buttons. I love wooden buttons. All these different kinds of buttons. And now I have choices to be made. Do I want to make his eyes like that? Big, big discs. And give him a little heart? Or do I want to make his eyes brown discs? Now those blend in with his body, but I have these really cute little flowers that I could glue on. Ooh, look at that. Aren't those sweet? And you can turn the little holes horizontally. Then it's kind of like his eyes are closed. Or we've got these other flowers. These all came in this one bag of buttons. I was so excited. Look at that. I really like that. But then I have these black ones. These black buttons that are shiny and black. Ooh, that's kind of nice. And then do I put the little flowers on? Stack those flowers up? Ooh, I don't know. Which ones do you think? Yeah, I think that those brown buttons, the slightly bigger ones that have this little dish to them, this little dish, I like that. All right, so those flat buttons, and then I think I liked it with these flowers. That's a lot of fun. I think that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the craft glue again, glue these pieces all down, and we'll come back and I'll show you at the end what the whole thing ended up looking like. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you do this project. It was a lot of fun. Make sure to click like, leave me a comment on what I did right and what I might be able to do better next time. If you could subscribe, you'll be able to find out when my next video goes up live. And I thank you so much. Please remember, get out and do something creative. Until next time.